your America's Voice News Update. Now I'm so happy to be joined by one of the newest faces here at America's Voice News. She is one of the most accomplished anchors in the business, and we're looking forward to what she will bring to the network. So for a sneak peek, I'd like to welcome in Miranda Khan. Thanks so much for joining us today. Miranda, how are you, and how's Florida?
I'm great now. Thanks for that lovely intro. That was amazing. Things are great in Florida.
Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be working on for America's Voice.
It's more like, what are we not going to be working on? We've got our hands full. We have some great, exciting shows coming your way. We're going to be doing a morning show. I'm going to be joined with Gina, Dr. Gina. Can't wait to do that. We're also going to be doing a noon show, and it's going to be, wait for it, an actual news show. Remember, like, when you show both sides? That's what we're going to be doing. And then on top of that, we're going to be giving you news updates throughout the day to keep you informed so you can make the best decision for you and your family. And we're also going to be doing, I'm so pleased to be a part of this network, we're going to be doing a show that centers around mental health and mental health awareness called RealConvo. So we've got our hands full.
No kidding. Let's talk a little bit about your background. Why don't you kind of paint the picture for us, if you will?
I've been in news basically as long as I've been alive. Which wasn't that long ago, right? Basically, I started in broadcast news since high school. And from there, I was a sports photog, videographer. That was my first real job in the business. Kind of worked my way up, started doing a pilot show, did some youth beat reporting, did various internships in Topeka, Kansas. Kansas is where I'm from. And then about a couple weeks after graduation, I moved to Lake Charles, Louisiana, where I was fortunate to host the #1 morning show in the country. And then from there, I went to the Quad Cities, which is basically the Illinois-Iowa market, and worked as a morning anchor, and then was promoted to be the evening anchor. And I also did some consumer investigative reporting there. And then from there, I came to Florida, where I co-anchored the 5:30 news show, which was actually the #1 NBC 5:30 show in the country at the time. And I also did consumer investigative reporting. And then after that, I took a brief little break, did some other things, and then I started working for Newsmax, where I hosted a 3-hour live political show. In a nutshell.
Nice.
How's that for your
nice
resume?
I was going to say, that's a nice resume.
Tears.
Yep. Tell us, what do you like most about educating people about what's going on in their community and nationally and internationally, for that matter?
Well, I feel like you're making a difference, right? You're giving people information, arming them with information, and allowing them to make the best decision for themselves and their family. And I think we've kind of gotten away from that, not just kind of, but we have. I'm all for commentary. I think it definitely serves a purpose, but I think we've lost sight of traditional journalism, and we've blurred those lines a little too much. I'm sure you know, because you've been in news a long time. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. I have no problem if someone wants to come on air and say they're a conservative or a liberal commentator. What I take issue with someone who comes on television and says, I'm a journalist, and they're telling people how they should think. Not what to think about, but how they should think. And what I'm hoping to do with this noon show, and again, I'm offering, asking people to give us what it is they want to see. They can go to our social media pages and chime in. But what I'm hoping to achieve here is to present both sides so people can make an informed decision. I don't want to lecture people and tell them what they should think and believe.
In respect to the stories that you've covered since you've been in journalism, give us what one or two stands out to you the most. What did you cover, and why did you think it was a big deal?
Oh, God, there's been so many. Well, obviously, covering the 2016 presidential election, I feel very blessed to be a part of history. As you know, Mike, that's part of the reason why people go into our business. We get to be on the ground. We get to experience history in the making. So that would be one. Obviously, I was not in New York City, but I was a upcoming anchor and covering 9/11. That was profound. I live in Florida, so I've covered a lot of hurricanes, a lot. It was exciting, but also very draining. So that would be some of the stories that I've done. But some of the simplest stories, just being able to solve someone's problem. That's been great. when I did consumer news, I enjoyed that. If someone felt like they had no one to turn to, they could turn to us and we could hopefully solve it. I enjoyed that.
And consumer news, that is one part of this business, I think, where you're exactly right. You can actually go out there and you can make a difference in people's lives.
Yes.
Because when you're a reporter and you call somebody up, a business or a public official, all of a sudden they respond where, otherwise if it was just that person calling, they might not, right?
Right. And I mean, that should be our job as journalists, to work for the people. That's how I look at it. And so that's very rewarding. And that's what I'm also hoping to do with RealConvo, is kind of bring more awareness to mental health. I mean, this is the only network I'm aware that is actually drawing attention to it. So I'm so happy to be a part of that. I really am. Especially now, as you know, Mike, I mean, with COVID, people are in desperate need of help. Depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts. We're going to bring that to the forefront, but in an uplifting, hopeful way.
Yeah, and we certainly live in a different world with a combination of COVID-19, and then you add into the most recent protests from George Floyd's death and how this country has reacted. Right. I mean, it's a different world, and it's more. I think it's more important than ever that people be able to turn on the TV or go to their phone and get news that actually makes sense and that it's true and accurate.
Yeah, and that's been the feedback that we've been getting from people. I put a post on Facebook. I had no idea that it was going to garner as much attention as it did, but I just asked a simple question. I just asked friends, viewers, fans, what news shows do you like to watch and why? And I was completely astonished by the response that I received from people. It was all over the spectrum, but a lot of people telling me they miss the days of Walter Cronkite, being able to get both sides of the story. A lot of people are telling me they feel like they have to go to this network, they have to go to that network, and I'm hoping to avoid all that you can just tune in to our noon show and you get all the facts that you need. Yep, there's the question right there. You just put it on the screen. Yeah, huge response from that.
Let me throw that question right at you. What news shows, whether it be when you were growing up or right now, do you like to watch?
Do I like? Well, of course, America's Voice right now. I mean, come on, America's Voice Live. The biggest fan right now. I do try to watch a variety of shows so I understand where viewers are coming from, and I actually think it helped me to get out of news for a period of time because, as you probably know, Mike, like once you're in news, you're kind of living this little bubble. So it was nice to kind of step away and watch news as a typical viewer as much as possible. So I watch everything. I watch all the different networks. I think it gives me balance. But I think this network is really the one that everyone should be watching. Maybe I'm a little biased on that.
It's okay to be biased. That's okay. Last quick question, and feel to expand on this a little bit. But growing up, do you remember one journalist when you were like literally growing up, 5, 10, 15 years old, that you watched? Peter Jennings. What'd you like most about him?
I thought he gave the news. I thought he actually, and he didn't seem like he was lecturing people. You know, when people are talking at you, I always felt like he was in your living room. Somebody you knew. And I really respected him. I thought he was one of the best.